What's up, Weight Train family? Today we're going to be covering our top 8 bulking foods.
3, 2, 1, 0, 0.
Alright guys, so this is Weight Train Whiteboard's Nutrition 101, Calories and Macros Part 3. Part 2 covered mostly cutting foods. You can use any of those cutting foods when you're bulking as well, but what we were focusing on with cutting foods is making sure that we got plenty of nutrients and that we got filled up on not that many calories. So if you're trying to bulk and you're using just something like potatoes, it's gonna be kind of hard because potatoes fill you up. So today, when we're talking about bulking foods, our main goal is going to be foods that we can eat a lot of, that have a lot of calories, and that don't mess with our digestion. Because anybody could go out and eat a pizza, but you're gonna feel like crap after you eat it, and you're not gonna be able to get your next meals in, you're not gonna feel like training. So the goal with these bulking foods is to keep you feeling good and keep your calories high. So again, we're going to go back to my food triangle. I know you've heard of the food pyramid. Last time I showed you that foods are primarily in nature going to come from somewhere on the outside of this triangle for proteins, carbs, and fats. What that means, if you didn't see the last video, we could take a simple food like beans. Beans are primarily carbs and protein, so they would land right here in the middle. Now if you go with something like protein powder, there's almost no fat, no carb, it's going to be up at the top. Or if you go with something like a fruit, like take oranges, they're going to have almost no protein, almost no fat, but they're going to be all carbs, so they'd be out on this side. So I'm going to show you again on today's video where the bulking foods stack up, so that when you're looking in your plan and you're trying to find out how to get, I don't know, in meal 2 you need a lot of fat and you need a lot of protein, well then I can show you some bulking foods that are going to cover that. So to get us started, the first number 1 bulking food that I would say should be in your top 8 is going to be bananas. Bananas, they fall on here down in the carb area, and they are a wonderful source of carbohydrates. They're very cheap. They also have a lot of potassium, and they're versatile. You can, if you're running low on time, just take a banana. It's already prepackaged in nature, ready to go. But you can also do lots of things with them. You can chop them up and throw them in your oatmeal. You can freeze them overnight and then throw them in a smoothie. Bananas, very versatile, very cheap, healthy, good way to get some carbs in. Next on our list is going to be a healthy fat. I'm going to say almond butter / nuts. So I wouldn't load up on too much peanut butter just because the ratios of the fats aren't as great. Now you can always add anything in moderation, but if you're going to go through a lot of fats, almond butter is a great source. You could also go with something like walnuts or cashews or something else on the side. You could go with the cashew butter, but we're going to call these nut butters, and those are going to be primarily fats but with some protein. So I'm going to put nut butters over here. Great way to get some calories in. Again, if you're making that oatmeal, if you're making that smoothie, throw this in. If you just got a lot of fat on it, grab a spoon and get to town. You can weigh it out on your food scale. What I like to do is put the jar on the food scale, tear it out so it'll say 0, and then if I need 30 grams, I'll pull out until I have negative 30 grams. That way you don't have to worry about cleaning anything up. Super easy. Next on the list, going back to carbs, is going to be dates. Dates are a dried fruit. They are super nutritious, high in magnesium, high in potassium, and very, very, very high in carbs. I think 1 cup is going to be about 100, maybe a little bit more than 100 carbs. So that's a lot of carbs just from dates. And these are another thing similar to bananas. You can take them and just eat them out of the bag. You can throw them into salads, smoothies, oatmeal, whatever you want. Dates, almost primarily same as bananas in that carb only section. Next on our list is going to be one that might surprise you guys: white rice. Now you might be saying, John, I've heard that brown rice is healthier. Well, brown rice does have a little bit more fiber. It does have a little bit more vitamins and minerals, but very, very small amounts, not very much. The biggest issue though, the way that we have our farming set up in today's society, is with brown rice, it absorbs and retains all the arsenic in the soil, and arsenic is poison to humans. So if you eat brown rice 7 days a week, it's going to start to add up. Whereas with the white rice, they take the husk, they get rid of it, and you just have the rice grain left behind. You're not going to get hardly any arsenic. The next great thing about white rice, you can eat a ton of carbs from this and not really get full. You can eat 100, 200 grams worth of carbs from white rice and still be hungry in a couple hours. You can add it to just about any meal. You can use it as a side. You can mix it in with your beans. And the next best thing, white rice is the cheapest food available. You cannot get a cheaper food than white rice. You can get a giant bag of it for not very much, and it will take you very far. I think you can get 2,000 calories or more per dollar on white rice. So that is a super cheap, super great addition. White rice, similar, going to be almost all carbs, not a whole lot of protein, not a whole lot of fat in there. Next on my list for bulking, I'm gonna get into the proteins. TVP. TVP stands for textured vegetable protein. We have a Weight Train meal prep video on how to make TVP. TVP is an extremely cheap source of protein as well, way cheaper than any of your meat sources. It's not going to have all the bad fats and stuff that you would get from, like, all the saturated fats that you're going to get from meat. So definitely recommend that. It tastes very similar to ground beef. Use it in tacos, use it in sloppy joes. I like to mix it in pasta sauce and have it with pasta if I'm bulking, or pasta sauce and potatoes if I'm cutting. So you got a lot of options there. TVP does have some carbs in it, almost no fat, but a lot of protein. So it's going to land up in this range. Next on the list, again, we're bulking. We want a lot of carbs. We don't want it to mess with our stomach. So you guys may have heard of cream of wheat, but I'm going to say try cream of rice. I love cream of rice. It's going to be in the cereal section of the store. You can find it online. It will be right next to where the cream of wheat is on the cereal aisle if you go into the store. And it is a ton of carbs. Back when I was bulking, I was getting up to 150 carbs in a meal just from cream of rice. And now you can make it by itself, throw in some salt, maybe throw in anything else that you want to season it with. But what I really like to do is make a protein cream of rice bowl. So I'll take my cream of rice, I'll make it according to the directions, get my carbs done. Then I'll mix in some almond butter and some protein powder and then some frozen fruit. I'll mix the whole thing up and throw the frozen fruit as a topping. It is so good, guys. Really great way to get a lot of carbs without messing with your stomach, to keep everything moving, to not weigh you down. That's one of my favorite pre-workout meals. Cream of rice is going to be same thing, almost all carbs. All right, next on the list. This one might surprise you guys as well. It's not typically thought of as like a health food, and I'm not saying eat this to be healthy. I'm saying eat this if you need another few hundred calories and you're struggling to get it. And it's gonna be bagels. Bagels are super calorie dense, super easy to get down. So like what I like to do is I like to go work out. I will drink my pre-workout drink that I told you guys about that has some carbs in it, but I still need a lot of carbs after I train. But bulking or cutting, I still want to get those carbs in. So what I'll do is I will take a bagel with some agave syrup or some jelly. I'll bring that in a Tupperware with me, leave that in the car along with a protein shake, so that way after my workout I can slam a bunch of carbs, a bunch of protein, and still go home, take a shower, and like an hour later eat my next meal. Definitely when you're bulking, great thing to add in. And bagels, they are going to actually have some protein because they are made out of wheat, so they're going to be right over here, proteins and carbs, mostly carbs though. All right, guys, so last thing on the list, this might be a little bit of a treat to most of you. I definitely enjoy it as a treat. It's going to be dark chocolate. Dark chocolate has more antioxidants than blueberries. It is a great thing to add into your diet for health, but also a way to get in some good fats. Now, the thing is with dark chocolate, you want to read the label. You don't want to see one that says like 60% dark chocolate. You want high, like 80, 90, 100% dark chocolate. Read it, make sure there's not a ton of like milk or sugar added to it. Otherwise, you're not going to get all the health benefits. You're just going to be kind of having a candy snack. But with this dark chocolate, you can eat it as it is. You could throw it in with a smoothie. If you're making oatmeal, you could take some almond butter, some chocolate protein powder, and then break up the piece of chocolate in there. It's so good. Good way to finish off the day with a little snack that is healthy for you. And it's going to be actually within the triangle. It's going to be over here because it's mostly fat, so it does have a little bit of protein, a little bit of carbs, but it's primarily going to fit as a fat for a meal. All right, guys, so these are the Weight Train top 8 bulking foods. This is things that I include in my diet pretty much primarily when I'm bulking. Like, I won't be doing a whole lot of cream of rice when I'm cutting, just because it doesn't fill me up as much. If I only have 50 carbs to use, I'd much rather go with oatmeal. But if I got to get in 150 carbs in a meal, definitely going with that cream of rice. All right, guys, so if you have any questions, if you need help setting up your diet, reach out to me, leave a comment below. Before you go, make sure you hit the like and the subscribe button. And thank you guys so much for watching and for being a part of the Weight Train family. All right, guys, take care.
0, 0,